I'm Steve Kometko, and this is E! News Week in Review.
You can always count on sister Latoya to compete for headlines in the Jackson family. This week, Latoya Jackson said she will file for divorce from her husband and manager, Jack Gordon. Trouble in the marriage surfaced during 1993 when New York police responded to a domestic violence call. Jackson and Gordon were married 4 years ago in Las Vegas. Marital problems would be a honeymoon as far as Heidi Fleiss is concerned. The so-called Hollywood madam is now in even more trouble, this time for allegedly failing to satisfy Uncle Sam. Greg Agnew was in court Monday as Heidi and her father were arraigned on federal tax evasion charges.
Heidi Fleiss was back in court Monday, and reporters were back waiting for her. Once inside, Heidi and her pediatrician father, Dr. Paul Fleiss, pleaded innocent to 14 counts of tax evasion and money laundering.
She's very sad and upset that her father's been dragged into this. She feels that it's unfair.
According to federal investigators, the Fleisses lied on tax returns by claiming Heidi was a dependent of her father's. Lied on loan applications, claiming a $605,000 deposit for a house Heidi was buying was coming from her father, and that her dad deposited into his bank accounts earnings Heidi made from her alleged prostitution business. Heidi's sister, Shana, is also listed as depositing prostitution money from the so-called Hollywood madam. According to Fleiss's attorneys, they saw none of the IRS evidence until they arrived for the arraignment hearing. Now they're pushing for a series of personal checks made out to Heidi and supposedly containing celebrity names to be made public before the trial date.
We will push for all discovery in this case, including the alleged checks that are set forth in this indictment.
What might we learn from that discovery?
Well, I don't know what you're going to learn. All the grand jury proceedings up to this point have been secret. You know what we know.
October 11th is the date the Fleisses go to trial on the federal tax charges. That's just 7 weeks after Heidi is scheduled to appear in a California state court to face separate charges. She supplied prostitutes and cocaine. From Los Angeles, I'm Greg Agnew for E! News Week in Review.
If you're heading to the movies this weekend, bring your bulletproof vest and a towel. New film releases feature guns, both bullet and squirt varieties. Harrison Ford's latest film, Clear and Present Danger, has real ones, while the comedy Airheads features rock and roll terrorists packing water guns. Clear and Present Danger is the last film in a trilogy of political thrillers. Each one is based upon a best-selling Tom Clancy novel. This time, Jack Ryan matches wits with drug lords and with the President of the United States.
I will not let you dishonor their memories by pretending you had nothing to do with it.
How dare you come in here and lecture me?
How dare you, sir?
I think the audience has great pleasure in finding that the heroes cut from the same cloth as they are, that they can emotionally identify with this person before he becomes heroic.
It may not have international terrorism, but the other film opening this weekend called Airheads does include a shootout.
Who are you guys? The Lone Rangers? What's wrong with that? Well, there's 3 of you. You're not exactly loned.
No one will listen to their song. So they go into a radio station and accidentally take it over.
This heavy metal rock band shows up at the radio station and basically takes everyone hostage. It turns into Dog Day Afternoon meets, American Hot Wax.
The guns are plastic, but nobody at the radio station knows the toy Uzis spray water instead of bullets.
I've got the Lone Rangers!
Both Clear and Present Danger and Airheads are playing nationwide.
What are you going to do for entertainment if there's no more baseball this season?
Well, I'm a horseshoe pitcher, and so I can spend more times pitching horseshoes instead of watching the Dodgers play.
We could play more golf, sure. Maybe even take up tennis again.
There's always the beach.
And these guys aren't going to let anything spoil their fun. What are you going to do for entertainment if this is it?
We're in Disneyland.
From Los Angeles, I'm Amy Powell for E! News Week in Review.
Well, I certainly hope they don't strike. The Yankees are my team, and they're doing great this season.
Yeah, they are, but greedy players, greedy owners. I don't think this is what Abner Doubleday had in mind.
Yeah, they do make a lot of money. Next time on E! News Week in Review, finally, something that Howard Stern finds too private to talk about.
And Hugh Hefner offers us a picturesque journey through Playboy history.
Actor Kelsey Grammer is smiling in all his photos these days. His hit TV series Frasier is up for 11 Emmy Awards. Grammy also recently got engaged. InStyle magazine was invited to the engagement party. The West Coast editor of InStyle, Robin McKaylee, is in our newsroom to tell us who else is profiled in the August issue. Robin.
Hi, Bianca. You know, Kelsey wasn't the only celebrity throwing a party over the last few months. InStyle was also on the guest list of actor Dolph Lundgren's wedding and actor Larry Hagman's housewarming party. Larry Hagman and his wife Mai recently moved into their newly built hilltop mansion in Ojai, California. InStyle was invited to help christen the sprawling 32-acre estate, and the pictures are featured in the August issue. The party included members of the New World Symphony. A major element to the layout of their house was water. There are 3 pools and a jacuzzi outside and a 40-foot lap pool inside, which Larry and Mai use almost every day. After a day of music, eating, and relaxing, Hagman began a dance around the sculpture in his yard. Everyone joined in the revelry to celebrate the wonderful day. Kelsey Grammer's home was the setting for a different kind of party recently, his engagement bash. The actor and his fiancée, Tammy, welcomed 180 people, including Casey and Gene Kasem. There were tons of gifts, but none like the Dodge Viper given by NBC. Grammer said he had a ball as he partied till dawn, and assured us the only other party that will be bigger is his wedding. Actor Dolph Lundgren knows about big weddings. The star of such films as Rocky IV and A View to a Kill said "I do" recently to his fiancée Annette. Since the two are native Swedes, they chose to get married in their hometown of Stockholm. 100 family and friends came from all over to celebrate. Afterwards, the couple retreated to their honeymoon suite and opened their many gifts. Lundgren said he was so moved by the emotional ceremony and that the wedding turned out a lot better than he had hoped. Bianca,
well,
Steve?
It looked like a lot of fun. Thanks. Howard Stern doesn't hesitate when talking about his private parts, but his private stash is something else entirely. The controversial radio personality is pulling out of the New York governor's race, unwilling to reveal how much money he makes.
I have to tell you now that I am resigning from the campaign. I am stepping aside.
Stern has been fighting a law requiring candidates to file a financial disclosure form with the state. A judge rejected Stern's legal challenge this week. The former Libertarian candidate says he's forced to quit because he won't make public his salary and financial holdings.
About myself, and I've been telling you about myself since the first day I started broadcasting. There's only one fact I never revealed. I never told you how much money I made. I never told you how much money I have in the bank. And the reason I never told you how much money I have in the bank is because it's none of your business.
Stern didn't mention whether his poor showing in the polls had anything to do with his decision to bail out of the race.
Still to come on E! News Week in Review, The Mask is anything but hiding a promising future for actress, model Cameron Diaz.
And when we return, David Adelson explains what it takes to get the show on the road rolling.
It takes a lot of money to mount a major tour by a band like the Rolling Stones. It also takes a small army of men and machines. David Adelson is in our newsroom right now with his review of the troops. David.
Well, Steve, regardless of what it is, if it involves the Rolling Stones, it's going to be massive. And nowhere is that more clear than the gargantuan Voodoo Lounge Tour, which, as you just saw, kicked off earlier this week in Washington, D.C.
It took enough steel to build 80 cars and enough aluminum to make 10,000 beer cans to create the special Cyberworld stage used by the Rolling Stones on their Voodoo Lounge tour. In addition, the tour requires a Boeing 727, 9 custom buses, and 56 trailers to haul the massive production. In addition, there's a full-time crew of 120 people and locally hired crews of 130.